Josh, CNN. The middle-aged reporter's voice cut through the noise. As chairman of VOD, will you take responsibility for Soldier Boy being loose and the over 24 people dead because of it? What do you say to their families? Ashley blinked, pulled from her thoughts just in time to see John's jaw tighten. The corner of his right, a twitch almost imperceptibly. Josh, CNN. John echoed, voice calm but low, dangerous. You want me to take responsibility? He shook his head slightly, disbelief flickering across his face. Why? So you can write your little headline. VOT chairman kills. Homelander behind dozens dead. His tone began to rise, the irritation simmering just below the surface. In 1984, when Soldier Boy died, I was 3 years old, a toddler. And you want me to take responsibility for something that happened when I couldn't even spell my name? What kind of loaded question is that? Ashley felt her chest tighten with anxiety. Even Starlight looked uneasy at how fast his composure was cracking. Things had been going smoothly. John and Starlight had prepped with PR all morning, rehearsed dozens of questions, mapped out every scenario. And yet here it was spiraling. The moment we found out Soldier Boy was back, we told the public. Immediately, you ask why he's loose. Maybe ask where you were when it happened. Where was CNN? Why didn't you investigate his death? Why aren't you grilling the CIA, who buried the truth? Now he wasn't just addressing Josh. His eyes swept the press, his voice thunderous, preaching to the whole room. This is what the media does. You twist the story, spin it into fear. You chase clicks, not truth. You divide people to distract from what's really going on. His voice hardened. Isn't it just a little too convenient that after I start cleaning house at VOD, challenging corrupt executives and threatening the profits of the elite, suddenly Soldier Boy crawls out of the grave? He let the words sink in, then added with mocking air quotes, helped by former CIA operatives. Gee, maybe that's worth a question or two. But no, let's blame me, the one man actually trying to fix things. A tense silence gripped the room. At my birthday special, I warned you. There are powerful forces pulling strings, even over people like me. I said there was a deep state. You laughed, said I was crazy, dog whistling, pandering to nut jobs on 4chan or whatever. But look where we are now. Just weeks later, I challenged the system, and boom, Soldier Boy shows up, slaughters innocent Americans, leaves nothing but chaos. And you want to know who's taking responsibility? He paused. I will. The room froze. Yeah, Josh, I'll take responsibility because no one else will. Not the media, not the CIA, not your precious elected officials, some of whom probably authorized this whole disaster. You all want the rule of law, but it only applies to you, not them. They don't care about you. His voice broke for a second, more vulnerable. But I do. Ashley stared, unsure if she was watching a meltdown or a masterpiece. I still believe in truth, justice, the American way. I believe in doing the right thing, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. He turned sharply back to Josh, locking eyes. So yeah, I'll own it. Not because I have to, but because it's right. John dropped his gaze briefly. His voice softened. To everyone watching at home, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your losses. I'm sorry for the lies, the betrayal. I've been lied to too. He clenched his fist. I swear to you, I will stop Soldier Boy. I will do everything in my power to prevent more deaths. For me, for you, for our country. He raised his fist and slammed it down on the podium. Truth, justice, the American way. The room was dead silent. Without another word, Homelander turned and strode off the stage, radiating fury and disappointment in equal measure. Ashley met Starlight's eyes, both wide with disbelief. And beneath the ringing silence, her mind screamed at her, spiraling into chaos. Fuck. Interesting press conference, Martin said as he strolled into the Seven's meeting room. Very passionate speech. I really need a damn office, I thought, glancing around the oversized room that doubled as a PR stage. Still, the optics were good. Door wide open. Anyone could walk in, not to talk, just to see me and the Seven. Accessibility theater. Don't start, I replied calmly. Starlight already had her say. So did Ashley. PR's in full-on damage control mode. Martin smirked. They might be surprised. Some people liked that little performance of yours. Some even agree with you. I met his gaze and allowed a faint smile to creep in. I'm counting on it. But that's not why you're here, I added, straightening. You've got updates. Red and black. He nodded and took a seat. We've collected everything we can. Red stable, almost fully recovered. You can wake her whenever you're ready. Black's in worse shape, but we've salvaged everything needed. Honestly, they're both fascinating specimens. I want Red kept under another day or two, I said. Make up an excuse. Doesn't matter what. I just want to be there when she wakes up. Martin nodded. And Black. Is she going to make it? She'll live. Barely. Her regenerative abilities are off the charts. Even unconscious, she's tougher than most soup-tier experiments. Honestly, she could be key to everything. Good. Then stabilize her and let her go. Martin raised an eyebrow. Just like that. She has people looking for her. Frenchie, mostly. That spazzy little French bastard. I nodded. Yeah, he's dangerous and creative. And if she dies on our watch, he'll retaliate. Kidnappings, bombings, staff assassinations. He'll do it all out of spite. Letting her go keeps him off our backs. Starlight will lose her mind once she finds out she was here. Martin's tone shifted to fascination. Still, her durability, her biology, it's extraordinary. If we could study her longer. I'm telling you, let her go. Frenchie may not be able to touch me, but he'll go after everyone else. And I don't feel like replacing an entire lab team. That wiped the smirk off his face. Kill them all. Echo's voice was gleeful in the back of my mind. Yes. That's always an option. Could I kill Frenchie and Kimiko now? Toss them in a volcano? Bury the problem? Absolutely. But then Starlight would snoop. She'd get suspicious, open her big mouth. That would force me to take her out. Then Maeve would come for blood. And honestly, killing Maeve would be annoying. Not because I couldn't do it, but because Homelander still had that messy tangle of emotional attachment. And, well, I wasn't exactly immune to Starlight's charms either. Besides, both Maeve and Starlight were PR gold mines. Our ratings were up, merchandise was flying, and Homelight had become a branding empire. They were practically printing money for me. I needed that stability. I pushed the extremes, they softened the edges. They were the cover while I made my moves. That's actually why I came, Martin interrupted, now smiling like a lizard in the sun. We need to dose her with V, and I want you there, just in case. I gave him a look. You just said she was stable. She is. But we've completed phase 2. My eyes widened. I sucked in a sharp breath. For both subjects, he added. I leaned back, loud a low whistle. You're serious? Both? That was a goddamn shot in the dark. Barely theoretical. Complete coincidence, Martin shrugged. But it worked. For now. Still, don't get too excited. Success rates drop fast after this stage. But it was too late. Something was already stirring in me. An electric thrill, a shift in gravity. Every cell in my body felt like it knew. The game was changing. This was it. The beginning of a new era. Oh, it'll be more than success, I said, grinning. It'll be the future. Martin didn't share the enthusiasm. Just don't blame me if it collapses midway. Of course. It's experimental. Risks come with the territory. I stood. Here's the plan. We dose her in the vault. If she reacts badly, I'll be there to subdue her. If she stabilizes, I'll escort her out, toss her in an Uber, and we're done. What about long-term monitoring? I shook my head. Won't work. If she finds out we're tracking her, she'll take someone's head off. Probably mine. Martin sighed. Pity. The data we could have gathered. She's not a lab rat. She's a miniature war machine. And her Frenchie? Even worse. Dealing with them just isn't worth it. Martin exhaled, shoulders sagging. Very well. As you wish.
Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
I tugged and pulled gently as my fingers closed one by one in a controlled and firm motion around the nipple. The burst of hot liquid hitting the bucket was music to my ears. It didn't take long before there was enough of the white foamy milk accumulated that I was compelled to drink it. Warm, slightly sweet and fresh on my lips. Fucking Echo, fucking Homelander instincts, fucking milk fetish. After stuffing a scared and confused Kimiko in a taxi, I went to the Robert Singer rally at the farm in upstate New York. Singer, the Democrat and Secretary of Defense, was in cahoots with Vought, and Homelander was supposed to endorse him. And I did endorse him, anti-corruption, trusted friend, honest man, and all that bullshit the crowds love to hear. I talked him up and gave a watered-down version of my speech this morning. These salt-of-the-earth rural types literally ate it all up, the ignorant fucks. The American way, what a joke. Like these morons would have any idea what that meant, what it actually took to keep America on top. A fucking joke. I shouldn't be too hard on them, it's not their fault really. The shit education system and good fortune of our country has made them fat and ignorant. That worked to my advantage, let them all project their version of the American way on me. Still, I was here for a second purpose, Victoria Newman. She was here, and I was hoping she would approach me. Unfortunately, with my future knowledge and Homelander's inherited fetish, I felt almost compelled to come and indulge in the sweet white nectar from this beautiful creature. Moo. Yes, Echo. We pet the gentle grass doggo. Fucking Homelander. My hearing picked up the confident footsteps long before she entered the barn. Fresh milk, I asked, pushing the bucket in her direction before she could say anything. It's safe if you drink it straight from the cow quickly enough while it's warm. You don't have to boil it. I could tell she was thrown off her rhythm. No thanks. More for me then, I said and gulped the rest of it. Congressman Newman, how can I help you? I put the bucket down and stood to face her. She approached me until she was within arm's length. I have to give it to her, very ballsy. That's one hell of a speech he gave. I'll be surprised if he doesn't jump in the polls in the press conference this morning. Well, half my team thinks you've gone mad, and the other half thinks you should run for president. Funny, that's what my PR team said as well. I replied, now you're not here to give me media tips, are you? So what do you want? I think we can help each other. She started with a sly smile. You and me, we can make a great team. Her long, curved eyelashes batting at me. He big eyes looking up gently. With your support, we could do great things. I could pass the education support bill, and I could back you up on UGH. Like a cobra attacking my right hand, shot up faster than she could react, and grab her neck, thumb squeezing her voice box. The fucking audacity you have. I said, rage building up inside of me. You fail with Starlight, trying to turn her against me. Her breathing intensified, and I could feel her super strength gripping my forearm. Not that it would do her any good, as my fingers tightened like a vice around her neck. Well, you didn't think I would know about that, about your little girl power scheme. And now you come to me peddling your bullshit, and I'm supposed to stay and listen like a good little idiot? Blink twice if I'm wrong. Her eyes went big in shock, well, bigger since she was already shocked by me grabbing her, as I finished repeating her line. My rage was sweltering now. I felt energy building up inside of me. Bend her over. Mount her. Yes, Echo, no, wait, what the fuck? I mean, yeah, sure, she had full curves, plush lips, and delicious-looking mocha skin, and, god damn it, I'm at half-mast already. You need someone you can trust. She said, what? Someone like you. I got rid of Edgar for you. That cost me a lot. I'm proposing a strictly transactional relationship. You help me out with one small favor, and I help you. She pulled out the piece of paper with Ryan's address. I let go of her, took a look at the address, and then at her. If this is what I think it is, then I'll help you with your little problem. You'll be VP in no time, I said with a cold smile. Her eyes narrowed in suspicion. How did I cut her off? Oh, please, ambitious, outspoken, and strong-headed, like it's hard to tell you want to be the first woman president. I said, leaning in, her scent, a mixture of sweat, hormones, and lavender filled my nostrils. Damn, she barely came up to my chin. Come to my penthouse tonight. Midnight, I have a new proposition. We'll talk details then. I finished and walked off, leaving her confused. It honestly took everything I had to control myself and not take her then and there. Fucking Echo urges. This is why I can't let him indulge too much. It leads to me doing stupid shit. Whether she'll show up tonight, I'll have to wait and see. Now, I had the rest of the day to attend meetings and respond to email. Fucking hell, no rest for the wicked. Interesting press conference, Martin said as he strolled into the Sevens meeting room. Very passionate speech. I really need a damn office, I thought, glancing around the oversized room that doubled as a PR stage. Still, the optics were good. Door wide open. Anyone could walk in, not to talk, just to see me. Me and the seven. Accessibility theater. Don't start, I replied calmly. Starlight already had her say. So did Ashley. PR's in full-on damage control mode. Martin smirked. They might be surprised. Some people liked that little performance of yours. Some even agree with you. I met his gaze and allowed a faint smile to creep in. I'm counting on it. But that's not why you're here, I added, straightening. You've got updates. Red and black. He nodded and took a seat. We've collected everything we can. Red stable, almost fully recovered. You can wake her whenever you're ready. Black's in worse shape, but we've salvaged everything needed. Honestly, they're both fascinating specimens. I want Red kept under another day or two, I said. Make up an excuse. Doesn't matter what. I just want to be there when she wakes up. Martin nodded. And Black. Is she going to make it? She'll live. Barely. Her regenerative abilities are off the charts. Even unconscious, she's tougher than most soup-tier experiments. Honestly, she could be key to everything. Good. Then stabilize her and let her go. Martin raised an eyebrow. Just like that. She has people looking for her. Frenchie, mostly. That spazzy little French bastard. I nodded. Yeah, he's dangerous and creative. And if she dies on our watch, he'll retaliate. Kidnappings, bombings, staff assassinations. He'll do it all out of spite. Letting her go keeps him off our backs. Starlight will lose her mind once she finds out she was here. Martin's tone shifted to fascination. Still, her durability, her biology, it's extraordinary. If we could study her longer. I'm telling you, let her go. Frenchie may not be able to touch me, but he'll go after everyone else. And I don't feel like replacing an entire lab team. That wiped the smirk off his face. Kill them all. Echo's voice was gleeful in the back of my mind. Yes, that's always an option. Could I kill Frenchie and Kimiko now? Toss them in a volcano, bury the problem? Absolutely. But then Starlight would snoop. She'd get suspicious, open her big mouth. That would force me to take her out. Then Maeve would come for blood. And honestly, killing Maeve would be annoying. Not because I couldn't do it, but because Homelander still had that messy tangle of emotional attachment. And, well, I wasn't exactly immune to Starlight's charms either. Besides, both Maeve and Starlight were PR gold mines. Our ratings were up, merchandise was flying, and Homelight had become a branding empire. They were practically printing money for me. I needed that stability. I pushed the extremes, they softened the edges. They were the cover while I made my moves. That's actually why I came, Martin interrupted, now smiling like a lizard in the sun. We need to dose her with V, and I want you there, just in case. I gave him a look. You just said she was stable. She is. But we've completed phase 2. My eyes widened. I sucked in a sharp breath. For both subjects, he added. I leaned back, loud a low whistle. You're serious? Both? That was a goddamn shot in the dark. Barely theoretical. Complete coincidence, Martin shrugged. But it worked. For now. Still, don't get too excited. Success rates drop fast after this stage. But it was too late. Something was already stirring in me. An electric thrill, a shift in gravity. Every cell in my body felt like it knew. The game was changing. This was it. The beginning of a new era. Oh, it'll be more than success, I said, grinning. It'll be the future. Martin didn't share the enthusiasm. Just don't blame me if it collapses midway. Of course. It's experimental. Risks come with the territory. I stood. Here's the plan. We dose her in the vault. If she reacts badly, I'll be there to subdue her. If she stabilizes, I'll escort her out, toss her in an Uber, and we're done. What about long-term monitoring? I shook my head. Won't work. If she finds out we're tracking her, she'll take someone's head off. Probably mine. Martin sighed. Pity. The data we could have gathered. She's not a lab rat. She's a miniature war machine. And her Frenchie? Even worse. Dealing with them just isn't worth it. Martin exhaled, shoulders sagging. Very well. As you wish. You want me to spend hundreds of billions on a vanity project, just so you can have a rocket measuring contest with a bunch of asshole billionaires? Money that could be better spent here on education and infrastructure. Come now, we spend over 700 billion on defense every year. More than $1.5 trillion in the past 20 years on Afghanistan alone. What's a few hundred thrown to create a new American dream? A new goal to give people hope, to make people dream? I paused briefly and stood. Just imagine it now. Science and education back at the forefront of the American psyche. I said, staring out the window at the night sky. My supervision allowing me to see the stars in a way that no mortal could. Little puffy clouds of white floating in deep blue-black. Though I haven't yet pushed it to its limits, partially out of fear of what I would see. Even Homelander's memories were too jumbled to understand what he saw when it came to maxing out his vision. Part of me understood why Superman saw things differently. How could I not when I could casually focus on the minute details of an object a mile away? Colors jumping and vibrantly dancing, their rhythm enticing me to move past them, as if the Red Sea parting for Moses. New technologies developed with a purpose and not with profit in mind. I continued, my voice whimsical and eager. I was letting hope rise up within me of what I could do, what I could accomplish, men and women united under one goal, pushing our boundaries to explore the new frontier and beyond. I paused and turned back to her. It's what we Americans were made to do. We are explorers, always have been since the inception of our kind. She looked at me with big brown eyes, plush lips partially parted. I let the silence build between us. I outlined my vision. The ball was in her court to respond. You're really serious, aren't you? You actually believe this? She said, as more of a statement. I do. I simply stated. But I'm not naive. I know this isn't something that can be accomplished in a few years or all at once. I extended my hand for her to take it. She instinctively did, and I pulled her up. I'm not proposing a transactional relationship here. I'm proposing a legacy. I brought her closer, so she was facing the large windows, overlooking the city and the night sky. You want to be the most powerful woman in the world. Together we can accomplish that. I want to change the world. Together we can accomplish that. I finished saying. She didn't say anything, just stared out at the sprawling lights of the city, the ocean, and the glittering stars. Impressive speech, she finally said. Is this the part where I'm wooed enough by your grand plans? I fall into your strong arms, and you kiss me? She asked with a playful smirk. If we're going to conspire and get in bed with each other, I thought it would be good that we also got to know one another a bit, to build trust, of course, before we embark on this journey together. Hence dinner, I said smugly and pointed at the food, now going cold. She took a glance at the table and then at the city. Her right hand went to her back and moved the zipper in a smooth practice motion. With a slight shuffle, her dress fluttered to the ground, leaving her only in her black silky lingerie. Her stature was confident and her eyes were staring into mine. How about we skip directly to dessert? She stated confidently. Whipped cream. Oh yes, echo. She will get lots of whipped cream tonight. The thin layer of gray clouds blanketing the Minnesota sky served as a foreboding warning to the events that were fated to happen today. This was the big day, the confrontation with Soldier Boy and Butcher, the final battle, so to speak. I should be feeling weary, concerned, anxious, but instead all I felt was satisfied. Played that bitch like an accordion. Yes, we did, Echo. Yes, we did. Good thing Victoria was a soup, a decently strong one at that. Otherwise, I would have crushed her spine. There's one thing to have the memories of fucking someone like Stormfront and actually fucking a soup the first time. Let's just say control tends to slip in the moment. I'm not going to pretend it was some romantic moment or anything like that, overwhelmed by our emotions or some other such nonsense. We used each other. She was a smart woman. She had come prepared for that eventuality, and apparently when you are a secret soup and a young, good-looking congresswoman, it's not exactly easy or good for optics to be hooking up with people. Once the dam was loose, she drank with much gusto. We even had the dinner, talked over some more details about our plans, and went again, because why not, she was already there. Part of me wanted to fall back on old habits and lazy in bed this morning, but Homelander's instincts basically compelled me to go see Ryan. Our son. I inwardly sighed. Yes, our son. Your son, my son. What's the difference now, really? Doesn't matter, really. He's going to be one of the most powerful beings on the planet. So I needed him to at least not dislike Daddy Dearest. I saw him sporting a baseball mitt on his left hand, preparing to throw with his right. Huh, is he playing catch with himself? Did he figure out super speed? And I guess not. The ball went far, really far, but he stayed in place. Hopefully it will land in some field instead of someone's brain. Whoa, I knew your fastball would come in sooner or later, I said with an excited smile as I gently landed. Stay away from him, Mallory said, bursting outside in her awkward gait. How the hell was she ever a badass agent and former director of the CIA? It's okay. I'm not here to cause trouble, hurt anyone. Just want to see my son, I replied firmly and casually. That, of course, did nothing to change the look of desperation off of her face. And I had a heck of a time trying to find you, buddy. I paused slightly and glanced at Mallory. Even had to get a big, important congresswoman to help me. She been treating you all right? I asked him while letting my face relax its features in a cold stare at her. Aunt Grace. That instantly irked me, and I felt a twitch in my features. Yes, she's nice. Aunt Grace. I pushed down the bubbling feelings rising up inside me. Okay, she may be nice, Ryan, but I don't think Aunt Grace knows what is best for you. She has good intentions, I'm sure, but she's not like us. Like you and me. I fought the urge to laser her in half while I heard her ruffle around for her phone. I can hear those clumsy fingers of yours slipping around on that screen. Get rid of it now. I ordered her. I have half a mind to laser that hand off if she doesn't comply. Do it. I really want to, but then that would set Ryan against me again. Luckily for me, she throws it to the ground. Listen, Ryan, your mom, she wanted what's best for you. And so do I. You have a real family. I'm your father. I understand what you're going through, the changes that are happening to you. I went through the same thing myself. He looks at me confused. But aren't you mad at me for what I did? Time to do some goddamn parenting. No, of course not. You know that wasn't your fault, right? I pause and let him absorb what I just said. In his mind, he is still blaming himself for the death of his mother and probably Stormfront. I slowly walked to him and stopped a foot or two before him. Son, when you are as strong as we are, accidents happen, things break, and sometimes they're the things you love the most. I pause as he looks at me pensive. But that's all it is, an accident, and nobody knows that better than me. Nobody, I said firmly. And what happened with Stormfront and with your mother, that, I sighed heavily, paused, and looked at him. That was my fault, not yours. You were put in a position no child should ever be put in, and it's all my fault. I said pensively. I was angry. I was upset that you were being kept from me. And Stormfront, well, I wish I could say I didn't see the signs of who she was and what she was doing, but that would be lying, and I don't want to lie to you. She was, well, we were, and I sighed again. Complicated. He looked conflicted, I could tell. I reached my hand out to put it on his shoulder. He flinched out of reflex, but accepted it. As you grow older and turn into a man, you'll find that things aren't always black and white, and that what our heart desires and the actions we take aren't always noble or right. Now, this is no excuse, of course, not for my actions, not hers, and not the position you were put in. Don't blame yourself, blame me. You were put in an impossible position, and you did the best that you could in the moment. It is not your fault. It was a simple accident. Do you understand? His eyes went up and down briefly, and I saw a glint of tears before he nodded. And son, I want you to know that as your father, I will always love you. I will try to be there for you no matter what happens. And I'm not going anywhere. I will always be here. I finished firmly. He looked at me, and his lower lip and chin quivered, and he lunged at me into a hug. Poor kid, blaming himself for the death of his mother. Considering he was my kid, Becca and Vought were absolute morons for not teaching him about his powers. It was an accident waiting to happen. Fucking Jonah went the opposite of what he did to me, like that would absolve him of the shit he put me through. It's okay, son, it's okay, I said as he sniffled a bit. How about you come spend the day with me at the tower today? We can play some games, go to the training room, watch some movies, make a day of it. Would you like that? The teary-eyed boy sniffled once, then regained his composure. Yeah, he said while nodding. Okay, why don't you go inside and pack a change of clothes and whatever else you need to take while I have a word with Auntie Grace here. Okay. Ryan nodded and walked briskly past Mallory into the house. I won't let you take him, Mallory said, standing defiantly in front of me. I actually chuckled. Like you could do anything to stop me, and also I'm not taking him. He's decided he wants to come with me. I'm not forcing him. I said with a smug smile. Now I want to know the name of the school he's attending and who his home teacher is. I asked, crossing my arms in front of my chest. Mallory looked confused and taken aback by my question. School, she asked. I raised an eyebrow in response. Yes, school. You know, the place where they teach you things, math, history, literature, school. I elaborated like she was dumb. He's not attending school. That would have been too risky, too. That immediately irked me, even though I knew the answer. So, you're homeschooling him, yes? I want a lesson plan. I need to know where he's at. I pressed on. Well, she stumbled. Yeah, I bet this is not the conversation she was prepared to have. Death, threats, and exchange of promises of how we're going to stop each other and get Ryan back, blah, blah, blah. All the good typical good versus evil crap, but not parenting and schoolwork. We are not exactly following a lesson plan. He's been following some courses on YouTube. He's a brilliant boy. Of course, he's my son. I cut her off sharply. But are you telling me that you're not letting him attend school to learn and socialize with children his age, and you're also not teaching him at home? You're letting him spend ungodly amounts of time online without any structure or supervision. I was almost yelling at her. A few droplets of spit definitely reached her face. Are you kidding me? She actually looked quite guilty on that one. I calmed myself and let out a big sigh. Okay, then who are his friends? What are their names and the contact info for their parents? Mallory regained her composure and stiffened herself once more. You know he's too dangerous, too strong to be around other kids. Once wrong move, and he could. Then show me what training program and exercises you guys have gone through to help him control his powers. I cut her off again because she was pissing me off. Even though I knew what the answer was, I couldn't help the rage building up inside of me. Well, we haven't exactly practiced a lot. It was quite dangerous to unfucking believable. I yelled over her. No school, no home teaching, no socializing with friends, no training to make sure he doesn't accidentally hurt someone. Great fucking parenting. I said, throwing my hands up in frustration. I don't even know what I expected from our so-called government agencies. Maybe some fucking heart and competence. God damn it, Grace. I yelled out once more, then stopped myself and rubbed the side of my head with my hands in frustration. I can see guilt building up in the deep creases of her weathered face. Good. Feel bad, you dumb bitch. I let a sense of amusement and laughter fill me up as I start chuckling. She looks at me concerned. You know what the irony is here? You, Butcher, and your government cronies are so scared Ryan's going to turn out a psychopath like me if I raise him, yet you're the ones doing more than I ever would to turning him that way. Jonah would be proud. I finished spitefully. I could now see the horror fully on her face as she realizes what she's been doing in her dumbass attempt to keep Ryan locked up. If he doesn't learn to interact and care for the world, then you're just going to get a stronger and more cruel Homelander. Fucking idiots. His rough-skinned thumb absently traced the blue strap of the overalls to the button holding the outfit of the dark-skinned doll together. His fingers really moved with a mind of their own as they slowly fidgeted with the toy, and while his eyes were staring directly at the plastic face, all M.M. could see were the scared eyes of his daughter. The scene constantly replayed in his head where he lost his cool and brutally knocked out Todd in front of her. He wanted to put the blame all on him, but deep down inside, he knew he couldn't. He was the one who lost his cool when he had promised himself that he wouldn't. His lamentation and self-pity were broken by the squeaky sound of the door opening. "Bonjour, Frenchie," said as he and Kimiko walked in. "I got you something." He pulled out of his backpack a bottle of Starlight fragrance perfume. Fuck is that? Cost 3 Bugattis worth of Starlight's money, but a dose of Novichok, our weapon against Soldier Boy. M flinched as he was touching the bottle. And the only fucking dose on the eastern seaboard. You put the world's deadliest nerve agent in a $10 bottle of Starlight's Wish, he asked incredulously. I must say, the smell has improved, Frenchie remarked, while almost instantly Kimiko rolled her eyes. Great. Frenchie noticed the lack of excitement in his voice. So you lost your temper and hit a man. Oh, this is nothing. You know, I once took a Spaniard's ear for jabbering at a screening of 27 Dresses. Frenchie, My whole point has always been to keep my fucked up shit away from Janine. I lost control for 1 second, and for the rest of her life, she's going to have an image of her daddy beating up her stepfather. M.M. said, and paused briefly to inhale. I gotta lock my shit down. I gotta be stronger. Frenchie relaxed and leaned back on the couch, sinking in his seat. Out of all man's miseries, the most bitter is this. To know so much, he said with a faraway wistfulness filling his tone, and to control so little. I've read a fucking book, all right. M.M. remarked, slightly annoyed, and Frenchie scowled. You cannot keep the truth from your daughter that you are a deeply broken and fucked up man. M. started shaking his head, but then saw Kimiko rapidly move her hands, forming signs too quick for him to pick up. Sherry says that you are also a very good man, loving man, who cares deeply about his family and his friends. Frenchie finished translating. Yeah, I have to say that I agree. You are the best a man I have ever known. You just need to let Janine see all of that. M sighed and leaned back in his chair. I'm not sure how to do that, he finally said, and then put his hand up to cut the other two off from speaking. But thank you. I will work on it, he said resolutely. Now what about you two? How are you feeling? He asked them both, though he mostly looked at Kimiko. After yesterday, you getting your powers back? He gently asked. Good. Frenchie looked at him, and then Kimiko, looking to get her confirmation. She signed away and shrugged her shoulders. She is good. No aftereffects that she can tell. Frenchie could see that M. was skeptical. You think something is wrong? His larger friend's mouth and nose twitched, and his hand went to rubbing his chin. I don't know. Something just doesn't feel right. He could have killed you both and blamed it on the Russians, and yet he lets you go and heals you, give you your powers back. Why? It doesn't make sense. I know he hates us. They all looked at each other in silence until Frenchie shrugged. Maybe he's doing it for the publicity, minimize deaths now that he's the big man of Vought, or maybe he's just bored and wants to fuck with our heads. M. contemplated what he said, but still let skepticism further darken his features. Maybe, but I still have a feeling that he's up to something. He sighed and leaned back in his chair. Anyway, if we want to use this, he said, picking up the bottle, we need to find out where Soldier Boy is first. Well, with Mindstorm dead, the only one left is Monsieur Noir. So that means Mr. Charcuterie and Huey will be heading back here to restock, and then probably the tower. So we either get them at Butcher's Place or the tower. M said, regardless of where, the three of us are not enough. We need Starlight. He finished. The other two nodded in agreement. A son of. I stopped myself before saying the B word as Ryan looked at me. Gun. He rolled his eyes at me. I know what you were going to say, BT said. Yeah, well, I get to say it because I'm the adult and I'm frustrated. I was in 3rd and now I'm 9th. You see how it feels when you get hit by the ghost and the lightning, and I'm also tiny. We all got hit by the lightning, he responded as his body twisted with a turn, hoping the controller would add a little edge. Yeah, but you stayed in 1st. That's because I'm awesome. I'm going to win. Don't be so sure. I may not beat you, but the computer could get lucky. There's half a lap left. It took us over 4 hours to fly the over 1,300 miles back to New York from Minnesota. I took my time, and we had some father and son bonding moments while I taught him how to maneuver through the air. Dads teach their kids how to ride a bike. I teach mine how to break the sound barrier. Honestly, we could have made way better time, but we took the scenic route as we were both enjoying ourselves. Plus, Ryan simply wasn't dressed for supersonic flight. Air drag was a bitch. The elevator chimed, indicating Ashley and Deep were about to enter. I heard them coming from a mile away, figuratively speaking, since they were only a few dozen floors below me when I tuned in, but I was more interested in the other figure that was also making his way up the tower. More. There you are, Ashley said, all excitedly. We've been looking for you the whole morning. Yet Deep nodded. I didn't bother standing and address them from the couch. Well, as you can see, I was busy, I said, and launched the red turtle shell that would put me back in 4th place. With my son, I finished and put the controller down on the coffee table. Ryan won by a decent margin as well. Ryan, say hello to Ashley, the CEO of Vought. She's very important She's the boss of everyone in this building. I said with a smile. Hi, he said shyly. And this is Deep, Lord of the Seven Seas. Hey, Deep responded. They were both looking quite awkward, unsure what to say, so I took the lead. So, what is your speech from yesterday? Ashley started. If you're going to ask me to go on talk shows again to explain myself, not going to happen. Starlight should have been enough for that. No, that's just it, she cut me off. It worked, they loved it, the people loved it. Not everyone, but mostly everyone. My brow rose, signaling my curiosity and for her to elaborate. Working class white males 24 to 60, both rural and urban, loved it. Blue-collar folks loved it. Working class moms loved it. Black Americans loved it. I mean, truth, justice, and the American way. You scored high even with college-educated white-collar workers. You nailed it out of the park, she said with a giant smile plastered on her face. I could see the excitement in her eyes. That whole bit about taking responsibility was fantastic. Women and mothers specifically love that. Even our country, our people polled, well, those were saying that was a dog whistle to, well, you know who, she said as though whispering, putting her hand to the side of her mouth. But we can work with that. The rural folks ate it all up. Your ratings have never been higher. Combined, you and Starlight are now probably the most influential people in America, if not on the planet. But the stock price dropped yesterday. Yes, but it bounced back towards the end of the day, and it's almost at parity now to what it was before. Look, the marketing team thinks we should. She didn't have a chance to finish as the new guest interrupted her. My features became stone cold. Noir, hey Noir, Deep said, surprised. I could tell the determination in his footsteps. I think we should, go. Ashley said. Wait. I halted their tracks. Ryan, I said, trying to sound as apologetic as possible to my son. I need some private time for a while to take care of some sensitive work things. Why don't you go with Deep? He can show you the crime analytics lab and all the cool computer stuff there. Right, Deep? Deep looked at me and then at Ryan, and luckily he caught that my question was actually in order. Yeah, of course. Crazy stuff. They can predict crime almost before it happens. Ryan looked at me with a questioning look. It won't be long. I just need about an hour and I'll catch up with you guys. He nodded and left with them. Moore didn't waste any time and unfolded his piece of paper. Soldier Boy will come. We kill, it said. I looked directly at him, past his helmet onto the real person behind the mask. His eyes were filled with hate and fear for Soldier Boy. I held the silence for a moment longer until I heard a slight spike in his heartbeat. Soldier Boy has the power to weaken us, to kill us, I said, and started to slowly circle Noir, my eyes never leaving him. He's more dangerous than anything we ever faced before, I said, reaching his backside. Noir stood his ground, but turned his body to face me. He nodded. In his misguided attempt for revenge, he has betrayed us, killed us, his own kind. I continued as I turned to the side, completing the circle. I paused for breath. Just in the same way he has betrayed you. An extra thump, the interruption of his rhythm, told me everything I needed to know. I know what he did, how he treated his team, what he did to you, I said as I slowly walked until I was less than arm's length away. His rhythm gave all pretense of calm and was now thumping with anxious energy. I don't blame him. Those were hard memories for him. My hands went to his helmet, and he slightly flinched as his hands went up to stop me. I gave him a hard stare and said no. I want to see the real you. Strapping things are about to get super fucking gay in here, but I really need Noir on my side. His hands dropped and let me remove his helmet. There he was in all his glory. A man that should be in his 70s barely looked a day older than 30. That's if you ignored the rippling waves of jagged scarred skin, a shade lighter than his chocolate color, droopy white eye, and deformed healed over cranium. He looked grotesque as fuck in that I can't stop staring kind of way. He mutilated you. He hurt you. It was more than this, wasn't it? I said as my hand gently touched his scarred cheek. It was here as well. My hand went to his chest, but most of all it was here. My hand went to his forehead. I hope he got that I didn't mean the scar tissue or literally the brain damage, but the mind itself. Luckily, regardless of what he perceived it as, he nodded. My hands went and grasped his shoulders. I'll make him pay. I promise you. He won't hurt you again. I won't let him. Not you, and not anyone else ever again. I said strongly. His heart continued its energetic beat. I'll put my life on the line for you, Noir. I looked him straight in the eyes. Out of everyone here, out of all of them, you are the only one that is my equal, no more than that you are my brother. I said with as much heartfelt conviction as I could muster. I fought him, Noir. I really did, and he's strong, really strong. I said, slowing my tempo. Only together we can beat him, only together we can succeed, and not only him, everything else as well. The world is changing before our eyes. The media, the governments, even our own kind are out there trying to hurt us, to bring us down, to not let us achieve our dreams. Make a vague appeal to the dreams and hope he once had, and how Soldier Boy stopped him. They want to hold us back, to kill us. My right hand suddenly grabbed the top of the back of his head and in a jerky motion pulled it forward. The movement was too sudden for him to put any resistance, but it didn't matter as his momentum was stopped by my forehead lightly crashing into his. We were touching foreheads and our noses were hairbreadths away. Yes, super gay, I know. You're my brother, and I'm going to put my life on the line for you, Noir, but I can't do this without you. My right hand was holding us together, while my left hand went palm open back to his chest and covered his heart. I need to know that you're my brother too. Now and forever. I can't do this without you. I need to know, Noir, that you're with me. Not with Vought, not Stan, not the government, but with me all the way. I could literally feel his heart racing now, and I could smell his sweat pheromones, all indicating a strong emotional response. Good for the strong and silent type. The show showed me how much of a mess Noir really was. People think they're all pure order and logic. However, the truth is we encode experiences and memories a lot better when there is an emotional response. And there is nothing like imprinting feelings of loyalty and brotherhood on one of the most deadliest people on the planet than when he is the most emotionally vulnerable. Case in point, Noir's right hand went up at the back of my head and pushed us harder while his left shot up to my chest, mirroring me. I could feel the nodding movement of his head on my own, and I could smell the tears forming in his eyes. I maneuvered our position into a bro hug, gave him a few more reassuring words, and broke apart. We need to talk strategy, I said solemnly, and he nodded. For now, Noir was mine. We have to stop them before they get to the tower. And he said to the room, our best bet is at Butcher's apartment. M. said while packing his gun and multiple armament supplies. Any answer from them? No, nothing from Huey, totally dark. Annie replied, even if we get to them at the apartment, how do you propose we give a Novichok? Frenchie asked, you and Kimiko are not enough to hold Soldier Boy down, not if Huey and Mr. Charcuterie are doped up on V. We need more help. He remarked, what about Maeve? Any chance we could get her on our side? M asked Annie. The blonde paced around the messy living room. No, I saw her today. She's still recovering at the tower. She allowed a big sigh, which is also why we need to stop them before they get to the tower. If he pulls another Harrigasm, thousands of people will die, Maeve included. That and, she paused, sighed, Homelander made it clear he'll kill Huey if he's still with Soldier Boy. Huey is a big boy. He's made his choice. M remarked. The tone in his voice left no question that he resented what they did to him and allying with the man that killed his family. Kimiko's hands burst in a flurry of movements. Sherry says he is still our friend. We need to help him even if he doesn't think he needs help. He would do it for us. Frenchie stumbled, if he was thinking straight. M just shook his head as if not believing what he was hearing. Well, I can't say I fully agree, Frenchie remarked in his distinct accent, which immediately earned him a slap on the shoulder from Kimiko. Wait, he said, rubbing his shoulder. Oh, let me finish. I can't say I fully agree, but I understand his desperation to kill Homelander. It's really the same as you and Soldier Boy. Everything's gone wrong in his life since Homelander, except you, Starlight. M stopped his packing as Frenchie's words registered. Him, Butcher, and Huey were all just chasing the same thing, really. His obsessiveness was the same. He'd almost done anything to get to Soldier Boy. Fine. We'll stake out the apartment. If they're there, you all distract them, and I'll smash the Novichok in Soldier Boy's face. Kimiko immediately signed her hands in protest. No, she says no. She will do it. If Soldier Boy hits her, she can survive. He will break. Plus, if you inhale the gas, well, that will be the end of that. M looked at her, and then at both Frenchie and Starlight. He could tell from their expressions they agreed with Kimiko. He was outnumbered. Fine. His body felt light as he walked to answer the door. The sweats and blurry vision were gone shortly after he re-upped on 24V, and he felt like he just hit the best home run of his life. The moment he opened the door, the mild euphoric feeling was burst like a condom at a frat party. What are you doing? He didn't get to finish as M turned the corner gun pointed right in his chin, immediately followed by Kimiko and Frenchie. Whoa, guys, what the hell? He said. Fuck me, Butcher said, and put his scotch glass down. If it isn't the Brady Bunch. What you lot doing here? What you think I didn't know where all the blind spots were? M asked Butcher as he pushed Huey, gun to his chin, further back in the room. You on V, Huey? What happens if I pull the trigger? Stop. Annie yelled. We're not here for them. It's Soldier Boy we want. Where is he? M reluctantly put his weapon down. Annie, as Huey started, whatever you were thinking of doing, it's a bad idea. No, Huey, what you're doing is bad. Thousands of innocent people work in Vought Tower. If Soldier Boy loses his shit, they are all in danger. Who cares? It's Vought fucking Tower. Butcher said, filled with spite. Becca worked in the tower. Frenchie replied, automatically. Don't you dare bring up her name. Butcher replied, he's not going to lose his shit, okay? We're only going after Homelander. Huey said amid the rising tensions. No, he won't let you. I won't let you. Annie said resolutely as the lights started to flicker and her eyes glowed yellow. Annie, please, we got this. We don't want to hurt you. Huey, his tone reluctant, but his posture filled with 24V enhanced confidence. Oh, but I will, the gruff voice said, bringing everyone's attention to the new entrant in the room. A frozen moment of silence as everyone went through the decision process of what to do next. M acted first. Annie now, he yelled. She gave Huey a reluctant look, then turned to Soldier Boy in attack mode, her arms already glowing. Kimiko had already launched herself the instant M spoke towards him, hoping to get the timing right and smash the Novichok in his face at the same instant Annie knocked him down. Time had slowed down for her, as she was midair and ready to land on her victim. The knockdown never came as she saw a yellow stream of light hit Starlight, knocking her off her feet. The slow-motion perception reversed instantly as the unencumbered Soldier Boy moved faster than expected, punching her midair and launching her straight into the back wall, using both his and her momentum against her to land a devastating blow that left her gasping for air. The deadly perfume launched out of her hand. Kimiko! Frenchie yelled. Annie! Huey echoed him, and they both jumped to check on them. Butcher, what the hell? Huey started, but Butcher cut him off. Oh, gross bollocks. She's a soup, barely a scratch on her. To his point, Annie was already stirring. Now the rest of you, whatever you were thinking of doing ain't going to happen. So often a vault with you, or else Soldier Boy here will rip your arms off, and I'm not sure I could stop him. M looked at him with burning rage in his eyes. Every instinct told him to shoot him, but his rational brain told him it was futile. This battle was lost. If they had caught them before dosing, they may have stood a chance. We try to stop them. Soldier Boy is coming to you. You have to evacuate the tower. We're almost there. I paused the message and looked at my crew, waiting to see what they would say. Ashley looked like she was about to have a heart attack, and A-Train looked unsure and conflicted. The Deep was conveniently giving Ryan a tour of the studio at this time. Of course, none of them knew I had planned for Butcher and Soldier Boy to arrive around this hour. Luckily, they were punctual. What do we do? Is he actually coming here? Ashley asked, desperation evident in her tone. I resisted the urge to roll my eyes. Of course he is. You heard our dearest co-captain. We need to evacuate the building. I replied with a tinge of sarcasm. Ashley, you and A-Train will see to the evacuation. I will go get deep in my son, I said, and stood, paused briefly, and turned to A-Train. A-Train, this will be an excellent opportunity for you to earn brownie points with, well, everyone, but more than that, I need you to represent the 7 tonight. They need to see that you're back, that we have this under control. You have to make sure everyone in the building gets out safely." He was honestly looking at me confused. The past few days we actually had very little contact, and he was a bit behind on my sudden change of nature, so to speak. I didn't let him express his opinion and just continued talking. "Ashley will be officially in charge, but we both know in moments of panic people are going to look to you. So I need you to work together with her, got it?" "Yeah." He nodded reluctantly. "And I don't want you anywhere near Soldier Boy. He's extremely dangerous and you aren't at full strength yet. If you see him, do not engage." "Got it." I didn't want A-Train anywhere near this fight, so sticking him with evacuation duty and crowd control was a good idea. This was going to be a life and death situation, and I simply didn't trust A-Train to have my back. Not yet, at least. One-on-one, I could take him no problem, but while facing Soldier Boy, Butcher, and Huey, no way was I going to risk having a super fast knife on my back. The man gave a confused and reluctant nod and went out with Ashley to ensure the building evacuation. They say in life timing is everything, so I conveniently took my time to get to Deep and Ryan and managed to stall just enough that Soldier Boy, Huey, and Butcher met us as we were going out. Both Ryan and Butcher looked surprised. "Ryan," Butcher said, "what are you doing here?" I put a hand on my son's shoulder as he was standing in front of me. "My son," I said, making sure to accentuate, "is staying with me." I paused. Butcher made to say something, but I cut him off. "Did you know he wasn't allowed to go to school? A boy his age, not allowed to have friends, to socialize, to learn. What kind of person would do that? Deprive him of the joys of childhood, all because of who he was? What kind of cruel man would do that to him? Hide him from the world like that?" I asked rhetorically. "Ryan, you need to—" He didn't finish his sentence as Soldier Boy's gruff voice cut him off. "Where's Noir?" My gaze turned to him. "Dead. I killed him." As soon as the words left my mouth, I felt Ryan twitch and look up at me. I squeezed his shoulder with my hand in response. He stopped himself from saying anything and only gave me a troubling look. "Yes, son. Yes. Good. Yes, Echo. He's a smart boy. He understood my signal no to say anything. I was happy about it, not because it would have ruined my plans. No, they would work just as well, even revealing that Noir was alive from the beginning. I was happy because him not saying anything meant he was giving me the benefit of the doubt. He was starting to trust me more and more. "Why?" "Because he didn't tell me about you." I replied firmly, then squeezed Ryan's shoulder again. "Ryan, meet your grandfather, Soldier Boy, heroes of heroes, and my father." Ryan looked confused at me and then at Soldier Boy. "He's my grandfather?" "Oh yes, he's the reason me and you are so strong. We inherited it from him," I said with a cold smile, while Ryan just looked conflicted. Butcher and Huey looked at Soldier Boy only to see a questioning gaze perched on his features. "He ain't your kid," Butcher reiterated loudly. "Yes, I am," I responded calmly. "I'm your kid, and this is your grandson. You have a real family. We don't have to fight. I just want to talk. Whatever Butcher told you, or whatever deal Butcher offered you is not real. Surrender yourself now, and I promise you won't do more than 5 years in prison." I said firmly. "You were betrayed by your team, by Vought, and by your government. The Midtown explosion was an accident, a soldier suffering from PTSD, nothing more. We can play that up in the media, and with my power, with Vaught's power, you won't stay more than 5 years in prison." I said with passion in my tone. "Join me. Join us, and we can be unstoppable, but you have to end it here and now. Join me, Dad." I did my best to sound passionate and heartfelt as I was lying through my teeth. No fucking way was I going to let a loose cannon like Soldier Boy run loose, plus I had already promised Noir I would end Soldier Boy. If he accepted, then I hoped to knock him out with a surprise attack, but that was a small chance. Still, for optics purposes, I had to give the offer. Can't have people saying I didn't try peace first. "Don't listen to him," Butcher replied. "He's lying." He then turned his gaze to Ryan. "Ryan, you have to leave. Leave the building." I just snorted at him. "See, Ryan, this is what William does. He pitches father and son against each other, hoping we kill one another. He'll pretend to be your friend, just so he can turn you against me. That's how deep his hate runs for us. Ryan, don't listen to him. You need to get out of here now." I ignored him, Butcher, and turned back to Soldier Boy. "Soldier Boy, Dad, choose peace and surrender for the sake of your son and grandson." The attention was now back on him. His head tilted to his right, and his left, I twitched while his gaze stayed locked on me. No, he said, and took a step forward. You're lying. Noir isn't dead. I let out the breath that I was holding. Violence it is. Kill him. We will echo we will. I see, I replied, and paused for a split second, my hearing picking up Annie and her crew coming up. Huh. They made excellent timing and somehow avoided the police perimeter. Then again, she probably pulled the Starlight car. Smart. I pulled myself out of my thoughts and turned to Deep, who had been silent and pale the whole time. Deep, I say, bringing his attention to me. Take Ryan and evacuate the building. I will not have my son in danger. To my surprise, the boy pushed my arm away in anger. No, I'm staying here with you. Damn, son. Now is not the time to be a hero. No, son. Remember our discussion about situations you shouldn't be in? This is one of those. I need you to go with Deep, and... I didn't manage to finish my sentence as a vice-like grip suddenly grabbed me by the throat. Fuck. No, let go of him. Ryan shouted. Where is he? Where's Noir? Soldier Boy shouted as his vice-like grip was holding me by the upper neck and jaw. One moment of distraction, that's all it took, and he was on me. Butcher and Huey didn't waste one moment, and they grabbed my hands. Ryan, you need to leave. Get out of the building. Butcher yelled at him. Where is he? Soldier Boy shouted and started to glow. Ryan, leave now. No, leave him alone. The little boy yelled and pulled furiously at Butcher's arms. Deep, you fucking useless shit, do something. The moron was frozen in shock. I could feel the radiation permeating, weakening me. Oh! A large red beam hit Soldier Boy's abdomen, knocking him to the side and stopping his beam of death. Luckily, his radiation was affecting Butcher and Huey as well. I instantly threw both Huey and Butcher off me. They were soups, but they weren't close to my level, not without the element of surprise. I knew what was coming, and in slow motions I saw Soldier Boy rush shield first towards Ryan. Protect him. My mind went into overdrive, and my body acted on its own. In an instant, I disappeared from my stop and appeared in front of Ryan, taking the brunt of the shield. Normally, Soldier Boy's momentum would have toppled me, launching me into Ryan, crashing us into a mess of limbs, tables, chairs, and walls, but there was nothing normal about me. I can fly and create my own momentum without actually moving a physical muscle. Bang! The shield hit me with a loud, echoing bang. My body tensed, absorbing the energy, and my invisible flight muscle instinctually created the opposite force required to stop him and not crash into Ryan. My feet buckled and indented the cement floor, and Soldier Boy's shield bent under the immovable pressure of my body. Oh! I used his moment of surprise to overpower him and push him backward again. Deep, take Ryan now. The discount Aquaman regained his senses and forcibly hoisted Ryan by the waist. The boy made a protest, but Deep was too strong, and with a few lunges he was halfway down the stairs. I didn't waste any time as Soldier Boy was getting himself unstuck from a pile of cubicle walls and desks. I flew straight into Huey, to his surprise, and buried my left in his gut. Rule number 1, when fighting multiple opponents, knock out the weak ones first to prevent them from hitting you from behind, and even the numbers. I felt my fist crushing his sternum and ribs, the force lifting him off the ground, then used my powerful right hook to knock him on the side of the head. The same combo that took out Maeve, though probably not as powerful. He'll probably survive thanks to the VE, but he won't be getting up anytime soon. I raise my guard up just in time, so Butcher's beam hits my forearms, knocking me back a bit. Huey, he yells, but doesn't have time to check on the surrogate of his little brother as a flying kick hits him in the back, knocking him down. Noir, a recovered Soldier Boy yells. Goddamn, he has impeccable timing. He's just so bloody competent that I need to have him on my side. With the Huey out of the way, it was safe for Noir to come out of his hiding spot, and even the odds. You see, as a teleporter, Huey presents a unique danger to anyone that can't fly. At any point in time, he could have teleported Noir right outside the building, and considering we are over 60 floors up, I doubt even Noir would get back up after that kind of fall. That would leave me in a position which is not great, so regardless of how I played this, Huey was always the first one that had to go. Noir, I yell back at him. You take care of Butcher, I'll take Soldier Boy. I rush Daddy Dearest with a straight left, which he dodges with a duck under my flying form. I feel his body spring up in an uppercut to catch me straight in the abdomen, but roll away to my left mid-flight like a turbine and avoid it, landing to his right. As my feet touch down, my hands instantly raise to block a roundhouse kick. I step in with my right and straight kick him in the chest with my left, pushing him back and giving me a second of breath. From the corner of my eye, I catch Noir exchanging blows with Butcher and skillfully evading his laser, yes, even from up close. Something to keep in mind for the future. Homelander. My gaze is distracted by Starlight's voice, and my world is rocked by Soldier Boy's right. Idiot. My vision goes blurry as my body slams into and immediately bounces off the floor away from Soldier Boy. Fucking hell, that hurt. I was so concentrated on Soldier Boy, for a moment her voice surprised me. Noir, you traitorous coward. With a kick, Noir threw Butcher of him, but Soldier Boy was already advancing with that eerie red glow. M unloaded a shotgun into his face, which did little to nothing as the Dean Winchester look-alike barely flinched. Kimiko rushed him with furious animalistic blows, but he was too fast and skillfully blocked the first hit, then caught her arm on the second hit, and in one smooth motion broke it and pushed her away. Fucking hell, the man was a tank. Even in my dazed state, I could tell Noir was panicking, as instead of his normal confident movements, he was backing away in a stuttering step. Not him. Get Homelander, I heard Butcher say as he was drunkenly standing up. Yeah, Noir definitely knocked his shit around. How many seconds has it been? I needed to move before he explodes. I took a deep breath and made to launch myself at him when the lights started flickering. Starlight's body starts glowing, and with a scream, she launches her gathered energy at Soldier Boy, which I can only guess due to surprise, pushes him back, interrupting his power-up moment, though he remains on his feet. Fucking hell, she really needs to work on charging up that power faster. It would have been better if she body rushed him. Yeah, enough. No more interference. Soldier Boy recovers just as fast, turning towards Starlight, his body resuming his death glow brighter than before. I see the look of horror on Annie's face and act. Annie, I scream as I launch myself at the glowing hero. My flight stops me just as I grab him from behind. I can't go forward. There's too much building that way. I can't risk him toppling tower. No 9/11 on my watch. My eyes briefly meet hers, and I instantly launch myself backwards through where the windows behind me and up. My whole body is hugging him. I feel the radiation seep into me, intensifying, burning me. I hear him scream, and I let go. A second, that's all I had to put distance between us. His twisting body released the energy in a wide reed beam, clipping the tops of the tower and a few other buildings around us. I hadn't cleared enough space. 2 long seconds, an eternity. That's how long it took for the beam to subside, his body still traveling upwards from pure momentum. I felt my breathing, my body was hot with sweat, the blow to the head affecting me more than it should. Fucking radiation. Still, now wasn't the time to rest. My vision zoning on Soldier Boy, he looked dazed. I launched myself towards him, picking up as much speed as I could. Boom. I break the sound barrier just as I hit him full force. This hurts us both. Me due to the radiation and him because he wasn't expecting it. I don't break apart, but continue my momentum with him, tackling him football style, pushing us higher and higher in the atmosphere, picking up speed. This is my chance while he is dazed. I need to gather speed and push him off planet. If I can't kill him, there's no way I'm letting a government agency get the once weapon that could kill me. I push faster and harder, past Mach 1, 2, 3. I use the bright glow of the moon to guide me. I'll let go. Like thunder, I feel a blow rocking my back, then an elbow in the back of my head. You piece of shit, let go. I ignore him and the pain, but then I feel the heat, that blasted heat. I feel it exciting the radiation inside of me. 11. 10. My right hand is holding him firmly secure to me, so I use my left to deliver powerful kidney blows, hoping to stop his charge up. Each blow he lands on me weakens me further. I push harder. It's hard to concentrate. How many seconds have passed? He needs 12. 7. 6. I feel the heat intensify, my shoulder burning. Each breath I take stings. 5. With a mighty push I untangle us, but not before he lands another right on my head, which dazes me again. We break apart like two ragdolls, and like a giant Sith lightsaber, his beam spins wildly with him. 3, 4, 5 seconds I take to regain my sense. Ironically, his hit pushed me out of the way of the death beam. The air is cold and thin, but I feel burns on my neck, bubbling skin on my chest, the top of my burned away, partially melted in my flesh. My instincts tell me to stop, to rest, but I can't do that. Not yet. I'm so close. I see him, his momentum slowing, and rush towards him one more time. I have to get him past low orbit, past the ISS, past the point where it will be easy for the government to get him. I crash again into him, carrying us further out. Using every bit of energy, I have to break us away from the gravity of this planet. I get a few more seconds of respite than the first time. He's taking longer to recover as well. He's more tired. Good, but I know in a fight of attrition, I'm the loser, so I push even harder. I must be going past Mach 8 now, when suddenly a shock goes through my spine as I feel a deep blow to the back of my head. The pain is so sudden my grip loses on him, and we become tangled flying mess. I can't slow down. I have to push up. I grab him by the remaining fabric of his suit and continue propelling us upwards. I'll kill you, you sniveling piece of shit. Only through the corner of my eye, I catch a glowing red fist my head turns with the punch, but even I feel its shattering strength. My jaw is cracked, and my right cheek is burnt. This fucker is a genetic beast. His powers are evolving right in front of me. He was channeling his energy through his fists. We're past the atmosphere now. It's easier to accelerate, so I put energy into another burst. I manage to knee him in the side and shift around to grab him by the throat with my left. His glowing left hand swings to hit me in the side of the head, but I manage to partially block it with my right. I relax my block, thinking his hand was going to retreat. A mistake. Instead, he pushes further. His glowing left hand grabs the right side of my face, burning me, seeping radiation into my brain. His thumb finds my eye and digs in. I desperately try to release his grip, but my blows are weak, my energy being used to accelerate us further. My mouth opens in a silent scream. We are past the atmosphere, no air for sound to travel. I feel his thumb burning my eye. I can see he's holding his breath, but how long can he do it for? He needs to breathe, but so do I. I need to fly back before we both pass out. I try to disentangle, but the fucker won't let go. Pain, stop him. Kill him. Then fucking help me. You think I'm not trying. You know this body better than I do. Help me. My mind goes into overdrive as I hear echo. Or maybe I'm just hallucinating from the pain. When did Soldier Boy's body start glowing again? How many seconds? Fuck, this isn't how it was supposed to go down. My thoughts run back to the image of the truck that hit me. Its glaring, bright headlights shining the light of death upon me. With my left, I see Soldier Boy's eyes are bloodshot, no, they're glowing red. His mouth is open, and the dreaded light comes from there as well. I almost resign to my fate when I suddenly feel a heat in my stomach, energy building and a hallowing thought echoing through my whole being. Together as one. The energy surges, and I feel strength in my limbs. I forcefully push his glowing hand away from my face. Release, sweet release. I make to punch him, but it's too late. He's detonating. This is at life and death, standing at the edge, my vision focused, my perception slows down all around Soldier Boy. I see a wave of red energy burst in a sphere all around him. A beam I could have dodged, but an omnidirectional wave, I have nowhere to go. This fucker, he evolved his powers right in front of me. Live or die. Then so can I. I force the energy built in my belly outward. I only have a split of a second, so I push with every fiber of my being to flood every cell of my body and break free. I feel it encompassing me just as Soldier Boy's wave hits me. The ensuing blast from the two forces violently meeting blasts us apart, adding to his momentum and slowing mine down. I feel dazed and drained, but I'm alive. I can't help but silently chuckle. It worked, it actually worked. It had to work, otherwise the harsh mistress that is space would have killed me. I did it. I won. It takes me a few seconds to zone in on Soldier Boy with my left eye. He's passed out, probably not dead, but he needs air to breathe, which he doesn't have anymore. So he's unconscious. Ha ha. Have fun flying into the moon at over Mach 10, fucker. With the adrenaline rush gone, the pain is coming back. My right eye is fucked. My face is a mess. I see melted flesh and bubbling skin, and as I feel an all-knowing impulse hit my brain, I realize I also need to breathe. Fuck so much pain. I reverse course and head to Earth at the maximum speed I can muster. In a few seconds, I'll reach the atmosphere, just have to hold on until then. My vision gets blurry, and I see colorful spots in front of my eyes. I feel the pull of gravity stronger as the world around me brightens. I try to breathe, but the air is still too thin, so I push faster. The air around me starts to glow red and orange. I try once again to take a breath, but I mostly get fire. Fuck, I'm gonna fast now. I want myself to slow down, but I can't tell if I'm flying or just free-falling now. The exhaustion, pain, and lack of air is simply too much. With my last gasp of consciousness, I want my eyes to focus and zoom in on New York and want myself to aim for a landing there. Darkness overtakes me. Through heavy blinks, glowing rays of white lights assault the eyes, only interrupted by a dark pixelated shape that was slowly getting bigger and bigger. Muffled sounds reach the ears, and as the head moves and feeling returns, there's a realization of a pressure surrounding the mouth and nose, a mask covering the face. The right hand shoots to remove the obstructing device, but the shadowy figure stops it. No, not yet, Reina. It will help you wake up. The words barely register, but with each blink the image comes into focus, and with each breath she feels energy coursing through her veins. It only takes her a moment to regain her strength, and her hand shoots to grab the wrist of the now visible man in green scrubs, pressing the mask on her face. H. The man screamed and tried to jerk it out of her vice-like grip. Please stop, Maeve, you're hurting me. Please stop. With enough energy regained, her upper body shoots up, throwing the mask off, looking wildly around. Who are you? Where am I? She asked the almost whimpering man. Reina, please. You're hurting me. We're in Vought Tower, medical floor, 72. He said through labored breaths that only worked to accentuate his Spanish accent. She released the man's wrist, which he immediately jerked close to him, letting out a huge breath. I'm Carlo Perez, your nurse, he said, regaining his breath. Maeve looked at him confused and then looked around at the setup of the room, resembling a hospital room equipped with various machines, some hooked up with stickies to her, monitoring her condition. What happened? She asked uncertainly, which drew a brief look of confusion from Carlo. You don't remember? You had an accident fighting you and Mr. Homelander. As soon as the words left his mouth, a rush of images and memories flooded her mind. He hit you hard on the head and broke your ribs. Big mess. Her hand went to her head, as if bracing herself to better withstand the memory. They were sparring. Her body, remember, each blow was heavy, the pain reverberating like thunder striking. They were moving fast, faster than she'd moved before, and then pain in her gut like a shock. Her breath was gone and pain in the side of her head. What happened after the fight? How badly was I hurt? Why can't I remember anything? So it was pretty bad. The sternum, ribs were broken and bruised organs, but those healed up in 2 days. No problem was the blow to the head. They had to put you in a coma for a few days. Coma. See, cracked cranium, big bruise on the temple. There was a big fight between Dr. Schiffler and Forelli on whether they should try to cut you open. At his words, Maeve's eyes went wide and her hand went to her head. Everything felt normal. To let the brain swell, just in case, but Dr. Schultz agreed with Dr. Forelli, and they only put you in a coma and treat you with ice and anti-inflammatory medication. How long have I been out? 5 days. Reina, you were supposed to be woken up yesterday, but the doctors were all busy, short-staffed. Not many people wanted to come in because of the contamination, the radiation, and the damage to the building. Maeve looked even more confused. Right. Before your accident, you remember the Midtown terrorist? Her eyes widened in realization. Soldier Boy. Turns out it was Soldier Boy come back from the dead. He was killing supers, wanted to take down the company and the government for betraying him or something. He and Mr. Homelander had a big fight, big mess, top of the building is destroyed, radiation warning for our block. Maeve listened to his words, sharply, though, she felt, as if he was talking about another world. The 50th floor where the studio is, and 10 floors below and above are closed off. They say the radiation is the highest there. Some of the buildings around us got hit pretty bad. They evacuated the most of them. Maeve, almost not believing what she was hearing, stood and in a daze went to the bright windows and looked out at the surrounding skyscrapers. Devastation. Tops looked like they'd been wrecked by a bulldozer, steel beams sticking out, cement dripping, and smoke rising from the hidden fires. She saw Carlo shake his head in sorrow. Many died, were working late, and from the building materials falling on the street. He paused briefly. They offered us big bonus to come in. The doctors were desperate, said our building was secure. As her eyes wandered from building, scanning the damage of what she could only assume was a hard fight, she caught a blob of dark on the ground. Her eyes shifted course and focused there only to realize it was a large gathering of people. What's happening down there? Why is that mob of people gathered here? She asked the middle-aged nurse who joined her by the window. Oh, Miss Ashley called them. They come to support Senior Homelander. Maeve looked at him, her features frowning in confusion. She say Homelander fought Soldier Boy and pushed him into space to save the city. They say he fell down in a ball of fire like a falling angel. Carlo paused. She says Homelander fought Soldier Boy and pushed him into space to save the city. They say he fell down in a ball of fire like a falling angel. Carlo paused. A spike of emotion surged within Maeve. The government, they came, tried to take him away. He was hurt very badly. His tone started to get soft. I only saw him briefly in the operating room. It was bad, Raina, very bad, he said solemnly. Could this be it? Could this be the end of Homelander? The cocktail of emotions being released made her anxious and hopeful. In the government, his voice rising in anger, to say, NSA or FBI, you know those agent types, he said with disgust. Those pinjos, they try to take him when he's weak. They came with guns, armed to the teeth. They try to take him like he's the criminal. Like he didn't just save New York. Maeve saw Carlo slightly turn his head and mutter some Spanish under his breath. Then, as if realizing who he was talking to, caught a hold of himself. What happened to him? Where is he? She asked, suddenly agitated. Don't worry, Raina. It didn't work. The heroes, they banded together and stopped them. He said with a small smile. Miss Ashley and El Noir rallied them and stopped the agents. They say the agents came all the way to the operating room, but El Noir beat all of them back to outside the building. Then Miss Ashley, she sent out the call on the internet, and the people came to protest them. They've been outside ever since. He said, his smile bigger than before. And Homelander? What happened? Where is he? Is he okay? The anxiety was surging more now. Carlo's face turned solemn again. We don't know, Raina. He's been on the floor above. The doctors were with him for the past day. Dr. Schultz and Miss Ashley won't let anyone in. El Noir is keeping guard. Miss Starlight, El Rapido, and Deep are with the others outside, making sure the agents don't try again. She looked at Carlo. The anxiety and anticipation was too much. She needed to find out. Briskly, she turned around and bolted for the door. Raina! Raina! She heard the confused shouts of the nurse, but she didn't bother turning back. Her heart was thumping. She needed to see him. She needed to see if she could end this. This may be her only chance while he was weak. She burst through the stairwell door and leaped the whole flight in one go, and then did it again for the second. Her frantic strength almost ripped the handles off the doorway, and she paused briefly to get her bearings in the hallways. She rushed to her right and turned left where she was halfway through the hallway, Noir standing in front of a double set of doors. Her gaze briefly met his mask, and with anxious conviction, she strode towards him. His right hand lifted up in a stop sign. Move, or I'll break every bone in your body, she commanded. She could take him, she thought. She could overpower him. It wouldn't be easy, but she'd done it once before. Maeve prepared herself to pick up speed as Noir settled into a defensive stance. This was it. Her body dropped slightly, ready to rush him, but her momentum was stopped by the squeak of the door behind him. As she briefly stopped to ask as those coming out, her anxiousness turned to her surprise into shock. First, there was someone in a white lab coat she didn't recognize, then followed Dr. Schultz. But they weren't what shocked her. That was the third person behind them. White bandages around his head covering his right eye, his right cheek riddled with grotesque, red, wavy, scarred skin. Obvious sign that something, or in this case, someone had managed to melt part of his face off. The scarring extended down to the bottom of his neck, where another set of bandages could be seen encompassing his torso under the all-too-large hospital gown. She could only stare in shock at the state of Homelander as he briskly walked past Noir towards her and promptly grabbed her in a bear hug, though she noticed the bandaged-up right hand was barely squeezing and seemed all too skinny to be one that knocked her brains around just a few days ago. "Maeve, I'm so glad you're here," John said loudly. He was followed by a chorus of voices that in the few seconds she was taken by his appearance had multiplied to more people like Ashley, her assistant, and a few others, all saying her name and agreeing with Homelander. She had come here for a purpose, but realizing the moment had come and gone, Maeve did the only thing she could. What surprised her was the felling, calm emptiness that was filling her up with each breath as she reciprocated the embrace and even resting her head on his shoulders in resignation. John was smiling. I greedily drank out of the glass, and with each gulp the refreshing liquid cooled the fiery feeling I felt inside of me. As I finished slurping the last drops of water, I handed the glass back to Martin and let out a satisfied sigh. "Thank you. I really needed that." I looked inside the large gown I was wearing to stare at the bandages that were covering me from the waist up to the neck. I felt weak, fatigued. Each breath was heavy, muscles screaming of being sore as if they had been pressing against an unstoppable force, though admittedly the pain numbed a little bit with each rising of my chest. I raised my bandaged right hand, barely able to bring it to shoulder level. I had to turn my head slightly more to the right to get a good look. I couldn't see out of my right eye. No correction, I couldn't feel my right eye. Only a throbbing sensation of pain, like a drumbeat following the rhythm of my heart. My right hand was too thin. Even with the bandages, I felt no strength in it. "Martin," I'm seated halfway up on the bed, and my head turns to him. "What happened?" The older man, sitting in a chair next to my bed, sighed and leaned back. "I'm not going to lie to you, it was pretty bad. For a little while we thought we were going to lose you." I was actually taken aback by his words. I knew I had been in bad shape, but not close to dying. I motioned for him to continue. "You fell in Harlem, busted up some buildings on your way down. It was only pure luck that we got to you before the police. Then again, most of them were evacuating the affected neighborhoods dash." "Neighborhoods?" I interrupted him. "Well, more like a few of the city blocks around us. Soldier Boy's laser beam wrecked a few buildings, a bunch of people died, evening workers, and falling debris and all that," he said almost as an afterthought. "We also have a radiation warning for about 5 blocks all around us." He saw me scrunch the visible part of my face in worry. "That's mostly for show. Don't worry, none of the buildings came down." He paused. "Okay, you said I fell in Harlem?" I nudged for him to continue. "Yeah, you were a mess, burns all over you, melted skin and suit, bruising and bleeding well from everywhere." I could feel his weariness at bringing up the images of how he found me. "We brought you back. The medical team was ready to operate. We did what we could to help you, but broken as you were for the first 3 hours, we couldn't penetrate your skin." He paused briefly. "You were as sturdy as ever. Problem was you weren't healing or mending back together. Then around the 3-hour mark, suddenly you heated up and started emitting large amounts of radiation. We weren't sure what was going to happen, so we evacuated and only observed you." He paused briefly once more. "That lasted about 40 minutes. Then our instruments indicated you had cooled down and the radiation reduced to, well, more reasonable levels. That's when we came back and found we were actually able to cut you." My eyes immediately widened in shock. "So we started to fix you." My hands immediately shot up in front of me, and, as if reading my mind, Martin answered my question. "Don't worry, you're still super, I think." Not waiting for him to elaborate, I took a breath and willed myself up off the bed. Instantly, I felt myself rise above it, though I felt pain from my muscles trying to stabilize my core. "Well, that confirms it. You can still fly, and you're at least still very much invulnerable again." As I plopped down on the bed, I looked at him confused and waited for him to elaborate. We operated for about 12 hours straight, stopping internal bleeding, skin grafts, setting bones, the whole works. He says, "You were losing quite a lot of blood, so we had to get you some new ones. Also, to counteract the radiation damage, we needed to do a bone marrow transplant." Bone marrow, but from where? I interrupted him. I don't have anyone dash, then it hit me. "Ryan," we both said at the same time. I instantly felt an energy surge in my belly and my whole body heating up. My right arm weak as it was shot up to grab him by the throat, and machines in the room started beeping wildly in that radio static sound indicating high levels of radiation. Martin's eyes bulged as my thumb pressed against his throat box, but he managed to squeeze out a few words that claimed me down. "He's fine, completely fine," he said through choking breaths. I let him go, and I put my face in the same right palm that was just squeezing him. "I'm sorry, Martin. I'm so sorry. I just dash. It's fine, it's okay. You've been through a lot," he said, rubbing his neck. "Ryan is okay. Perfectly fine. His healing factor is outstanding, and everything we took he regenerated back in a few hours. He's truly a fine specimen." I immediately shot him a glare, and he put his hands up in resignation. "Sorry, poor choice of words. So his bone marrow healed me?" I asked, and I saw him shift a bit uncomfortably. "Yeah, we're not quite sure." I looked at him incredulously. "You're not sure?" "Well, his blood and bone marrow were needed since. Well, you needed it, and he was the only compatible donor, but we also used stem cells from him along with a concoction." He hesitated a bit. "Experimental, of course, of subject black stem cells and compound V. And that's what worked to bring me back, to being super." And once again, I saw the man hesitate. "Yeah, not exactly. I think maybe that's the best theory we have," he said rapidly as he saw my unamused look. "I had hoped the V would restore you immediately like it did for Subject Black, but that didn't happen." "So what happened then?" "Well, we performed the transfusions around the 8 hours of operating once the other team managed to finish extracting from Ryan and synthesizing the Black V compound. But once we did it, nothing happened." He took a deep breath. "As far as we could tell, your body just kind of fully absorbed everything with no discernible changes. Your temperature was still hot, and the radiation was still high abnormal. Your healing and blood coagulation was normal human levels as far as we could tell." "So what happened then?" "Well, seeing no perceptible change, we continued with the operation. We fixed as much as we could and called it quits when we couldn't 12 hours in." "Then how am I still super?" I asked, confused. "Well, we did a pin prick test every hour or so after we were done to check you, and in the 4th hour after Dr. Forelli reported that it failed and all the things we had hooked you up to were expelled from your body." He took a slight breath and continued. "Most of the sutured wounds were healed over, and the burned areas showed considerable scarring, as well there was considerable growth of skin and muscle on your damaged right arm." He paused slightly as I looked at my bandaged arm. "Since then, we haven't been able to penetrate your skin. All the medicine had to be administered orally or annually." I flinched at that last part, but whatever he was the doctor, he knew better. "Your eye, though, didn't regenerate. We had to remove the remains, but the area around it had already started to scar when we found you in Harlem," he said. "But overall, the more important part was that you had cooled down to normal human temperature, and the radiation subsided as well. At least until you just got angry now," he said, and took a look at the machines near us. I sighed. "So you used me as a guinea pig for your new, untested compound, and don't even know if it worked or not." Martin scowled, and I could see he wasn't pleased with my assessment. "I'm giving you the short notes here. You have no idea how bad you were. Even the video won't do justice to show you, but I can read you the chart of all the things that were wrong with you." I stopped him before he could go on. "No, that won't be necessary. You're right. I'm sorry, and thank you for saving my life." The man loosed up and nodded in acknowledgement. "Look, I need a few moments to recollect and let all of this sink in," I said while my hand motioned at my state. Martin nodded once again. "I can give you half an hour. Ashley and the exec team along with the board want to see you ASAP, and there's only so long I can keep Schiffler and Forelli of you. Now that you're awake, they will want to run tests on you." I rolled my eyes at that. "HNHM, does Ashley have anything to do with the crowd outside? You can hear them?" Martin asked back. "How can I not?" I said, shrugging. "That's good. It means that healed as well, and yes, she does. I'll let her tell you about that. Fucking government pricks. He swore under his breath, and I just raised my remaining eyebrow at him. Never mind that, he said, shaking his head. Washroom's over there through that door if you need it. Noir's outside, call for him when you're ready. I nodded, and the man left me to my own devices. I walked slowly to the washroom, with each step getting reacquainted with the feel of my body. And I was trying to minimize the lingering pain. I looked at the half mirror in the washroom, and it wasn't pretty. Scarred red skin on the right side of my face. Even though it was hidden by the bandages, I knew part of my hair was also gone. The scarring went down my neck to my shoulders where the bandages began again. Part of me wanted to unwrap them to see the damage. However, I felt a surge of anger as I stared at myself in the mirror. Homelander's feelings were bubbling up. The man had been a supremacist and took great pride in his perfect looks. Seeing them now ruined must have risen whatever was left of him inside of me. I felt heat and energy build more wild, chaotic, and much hotter than when I used my laser vision. No, this was something different. I heard the instruments in the other room start beeping, making static noises. As the heat and energy built, my breathing got faster, and I saw in the mirror my chest glowing red. With almost frantic breathing, I realized what was happening. I needed to get it under control before I exploded. I inhaled deeply through my mouth and exhaled in a controlled manner through my nose. Fuck this, I'm in charge. I did it again and again while slowly pushing the energy through my whole body, circulating it as if were blood with each breath. I felt my heart rate slow, and with it the energy build up along with the glowing in my chest. I brought my hands up in front of my one good eye, took a deep breath through my nose, and as I exhaled slowly, I willed the energy to move into my arms. Immediately, I felt heat from my stomach through my chest running down my arms. I scowled, took another breath, sharpened my will, and tried again with the same effect. I did it again, and as I finished my controlled exhaled, I couldn't help but let a smile build upon my chapped lips. Like father, like son. My palms were glowing with a bright, deep, red aura.